much, Lucy. Yeah, Stewart Delgarno, Director of Product Development at Stewart Milne Group. We are a UK's leading independent private house builder, building 1,000 homes every year, predominantly in Scotland and in northwest England. And we're the UK's largest off-site timber frame manufacturing business, with 3 manufacturing facilities producing currently 8,500 homes. And we make a home every 43 minutes in our factories. So by the time I'm finished, we'll probably have made a couple of houses today. And I'm going to talk about mainstreaming timber frame construction in low-rise residential applications. Is that working? Are you going to have to scroll through it? Okay. Right, sorry about that. Our aspiration is to be a net zero carbon business, delivering sustainable communities, homes and off-site solutions. That's at the essence of what we want to do as a business. And as part of that, we believe timber is at the root of our solution for our business over the last 45 years and going forward. We're glad to see in the net zero carbon strategy announced by government that timber was favoured as a system that should be supported going forward, as has a large part to play in the decarbonisation of the UK, to ensure that our homes and our communities of the future are fit for purpose using the best renewable materials around. Sustainability has been at the heart of our business for years and years and years. We focus on product, people and planet. And our sustainability strategy at Stewart Milne Timber Systems, our timber frame business, really focuses hard on delivering KPIs, annual measurements that look at how we are working as a business ourselves, how we are supporting our customers to decarbonise, and what we're doing to ensure our people breed a culture of being innovative but sustainable and culturally minded towards looking after the planet and what we're about as a business. We believe that sort of thinking and that carbon strategy can feed into our customers as well, helping them to reduce their carbon footprint as well. So we are not only a developer ourselves, but we're also a supplier of goods to other developers. So everything from a small project to an SME, to a housing association, or even the large private developers like the Barretts, Taylor Wimpey's, we supply them. And we're working with them to ensure that they reduce their carbon footprint, moving away from brick and block, concrete built homes to timber construction. Currently in the UK, timber is about 25% of the UK housing market. We think that can go to 50% as a minimum and upwards to 70 or 85%. In Scotland, we lead the way with 85% of all new built homes are timber frame construction. And we see timber as a solution to a lot of these answers that we've had today. It's a great material, it's a certified material, it's got lots of really good certification systems. So for every tree you plant, you produce a tree, in 40 years you harvest it, you turn it into structural grade timber that we can then build a home with going forward. And that's been around for years and years and years. And people like Confer in the UK industries here, and our partners in Sweden and Finland and other countries across the world naturally harvest sustainable timber sources. Timber frame, as I say, can be a significant player in the market for housing going forward. And one of the key things that we like about timber is its embodied carbon footprint. And we've been doing some work through our AMCH project, the next slide please, about mapping the timber frame embodied carbon benefits of a brick and block built house versus a timber frame house. And over a 60-year, including sequestration, it's a 12 tonnes saving. You might say, what does 12 tonnes look like? Well, it's a single car driving around the world 1.7 times. Now, we're going to build 300,000 houses in the UK. Currently, the timber frame market is about 60,000 homes. If that doubles to 120,000 homes, that's 120,000 times 1.7 times around the world. of carbon saving into the atmosphere. That's a great story. And businesses are looking for solutions in terms of how they can actually reduce their carbon footprint. Our focus has been on the structural shell. We're a panelised timber frame supplier. We do not produce modular systems like the one on display here. We are panelised MMC systems. Our focus is on building a structural shell, wind and watertight, insulated, windows fitted, pre-finished floor, roof on the deck, no scaffolding, roof tiled in less than 7 hours. So the structural shell, complete, wind and watertight in a day. That then allows the fallen entrees to come in, fit the kitchen, fit the bathrooms, complete the home, and then clad the building around the outside with traditional materials, be that stone, block, render or brickwork. You can get a mortgage, NHBC love us, banks love us, lenders love us, because you can get a mortgage. It's a sustainable, renewable, used material, but also proven with a heritage of acceptability in the marketplace. It's on the cusp of being a mainstream solution. Yes, there's things we are looking to do in the future. So working with AMCH and the Innovation Centre here, looking to think about pod and panels. So if we dropped in a bathroom pod as part of the shell process, if we did other things as part of the build, maybe putting a facade in the factory, for example, we could increase the amount of off-site manufacturing to a position maybe in 5, 10, 20, 30 years, where the majority of the home is done in the factory. But if you want a here and now solution for reducing your carbon footprint and delivering a viable, cost-effective, mainstream, acceptable way, timber frame is the way to go. And building with timber has lots of benefits, not just the fact that it's cost competitive. We will be on the money versus brick and block every day of the week. We'll be within 2 or 3% of their cost base. And if you take speed into the consideration, we'll be quicker. So for some markets, it's even better. So affordable housing, where we're building things out, or apartment blocks, we need to build them out quickly, and speed's a driver. Timber frame is often a more cost-effective way to go. Even in a private sale, where you're building one a week, selling one a week, you can factor in your build to be cost competitive just on price alone. And also, if you look forward to what the government's doing, the next slide, we see in England a move towards more modern methods of construction. Homes England fund all affordable homes in England currently. Huge landowner, huge funder. They've now encouraged, as part of their funding criteria, that all funding released in England for affordable housing requires a 25% MMC requirement. MMC is defined as 7 categories. Category 2 is panelised timber frame, and it has to have a pre-manufactured value of 55%. Pre-manufactured means the volume of work done in the factory versus the volume of work done on site. That's driving the market towards adopting these systems. I would call on the Scottish Government to think about doing something similar. Even though we currently use 85% timber frame, we need to develop the next generation timber frame, including closed panels, other incremental improvements that we can make from an indigenous supply chain that can service our existing marketplace. And also, these systems that we're developing, closed panel technology that is the sort of mainstay of achieving 55%, needs to be certified and approved. The question was asked earlier today. We've got BOPAS, we've had it for 5 years. We've got BBA certification, we've got NHBC accepts approval in our systems. We can get a mortgage, you can get insurance. We've got durability assessments for at least 60 years. Everything's designed for a minimum design life of 60 years. So that means that banks can support us, mortgages can be given, insurance can be provided on the homes that we're producing. And that de-risks any concerns that a developer or a housing association may have with their housing stock. It's really important we have these certification schemes in place and that people adopt them and use them. PMV, the question was asked, pre-manufactured value. It's a new term. It's like all these things. But write it down, because I'm pretty sure people will start to get their head around what that actually means to them. And if you're a developer or if you're an affordable provider, whether you're a small SME or a large builder, you'll start to be asked questions about what your PMV score is for your development. And that's essentially a driver towards modern methods off-site construction systems. England have started that journey by specifying a metric. Scotland have yet to do so, but are likely to do so, I believe. So, on the built environment, we can do many things. Our focus is on low-rise housing and apartments up to 4 or 5 storey. That's where our limits are. But we can also do other buildings. We've got open panel systems and closed panel systems. Closed panel systems can have the fire protection pre-fitted, the windows pre-fitted for both party walls and for external walls, providing a fire-safe solution during construction and in use. So any concern with fire safety is just not applicable to timber frame up to 4 storeys, which is essentially under the 18-metre threshold that Grenfell has been looking at. Scotland, as you're maybe aware, in apartments recently, multi-occupants buildings have now introduced sprinklers. So that's an additional mitigation measure that allows absolute certainty that the holistic approach to a building design, including the materials you use and the systems and risk mitigation measures, are appropriate for that building. Now, through EMCH, we've been doing a lot of work to look at not just what we use, but also the housing designs and the processes we use. So we have to embrace new ways as well. We have to move towards digital design, 3D BIM technology. We have to integrate a more complicated design. We will have heat pumps in the future. We will have battery storage. We will have thermal stores. There will be other things we'll have to integrate, ventilation. So services and building fabric need to come together. The best way to do that is to use 3D BIM modelling. So things like Revit technology that's from AutoCAD, to actually use that and to then create that information to then flow into the factories so that our factories can be efficient to produce product, and flow into the building site so that the guys on the site have got information at the point of use, makes their life easy to assemble the homes. And also embracing manufacturing. Timber frame is a low energy manufacturing system. It does not use energy. We're about to design some PV arrays in our factory in Whitney in Oxfordshire, a 3,000 unit PV array, which will actually mean we produce more power than we consume. We will be self-sufficient as a factory. So all our equipment, all our forklifts, and all our potential customers and our staff coming to work have the ability to potentially charge our car and actually run our equipment. We can use our waste heat, our waste timbers, to create heat and then decarbonise, obviously, the outputs, the emissions, to create heat as well. Or we can actually, in the future, look to battery storage. But it's not just about that, it's also about the type of equipment. Somebody mentioned high-value jobs earlier on. The image on the left is the world's first fully automated robotic production line, an £8.3 million investment that we are currently making. That machine will be coming into Whitney in Oxfordshire in less than 12 months' time. It's got 7 robots on it and developing robotic technologies. We are creating high-value jobs that will ensure we've got a more diverse, younger workforce who want to come and work on us. We can't have factories where we're relying on people lifting heavy things and assembling heavy things. We need to move towards how the car industry have operated. We're on that journey. That technology could be deployed into Scotland in due course when the PMV number increases to a more developed product. We're developing that technology. That is world leading. And the last thing we've done is create digital twins. So we think a hub and spoke factory design is a good system so that local jobs can be created. We've developed a hub, which is a large manual or automated hub that produces 5,000 homes, or a spoke, which is a smaller 2,500 unit manually orientated spoke. Done this with the Manufacturing Technology Centre, working with the Construction Scotland Innovation Centre and EMCH to create digital twins of future factories that we can deploy. So if we've got a pipeline of work in a certain location, we can actually have a pop-up factory to make product close to that site. But it's also about the construction as well. So, reducing emissions. If we do more in the factory, so insulate things, put the window in, have pre-finished floors, we don't need so much trucks coming to our site. We don't need so much forklifts running about our sites. We're a safer way to build. We're not working at height. We've got less trips and falls. We've got less manual handling. We're not fitting windows into holes in a building site. We're actually doing it in a factory where I've got a robot doing that in the future, not a person. And then just assembling a whole wall to complete a window water type building in a day. These are all the skills and issues we're taking off. And the gentleman at the back asked about skills. What we're seeing is in the mainstream and opportunity is that in blockwork construction, brick and block, you rely on a bricklayer. There ain't many bricklayers going around. They're actually a depleting resource over time. They're an aging workforce that's reducing. We need new ways to do it. So timber frame allows us to do that by taking that element off it. We still need a bricklayer to then put the bricks round about it. So he's more efficient. He can do 5 or 6 houses a week rather than 3 or 4. He's not having to lift heavy steel lintels or lift heavy block lintels because the shell's there. He's building to a template. So in terms of getting more people and de-skilling the process, it's about using the skills we've got, extending the shelf life of the workforce we've got, and actually encouraging new people into it where they don't have to work on a muddy field as much as they need because half the building is already built for them. So our final sort of roadmap is about low carbon homes and designing those. So through our project, AIMCH, working with our partners, we've developed a pre-configured book of affordable homes that are net zero carbon, 18 house types, all designed to Housing for Varying Needs, or NDSSS standards in England. Fabric first, heat pump ready, with a low U-value external wall solution, 55% PMV as minimum, all type approved, and free to use. So as an SME who doesn't have the skills, who doesn't have the technical people to help them, they can actually come and just use, under a license agreement, our range of house types, with a regional architect who can then build them, whether it's in rural Highlands of Scotland or whether it's in the outskirts of London. Configure them together, elevate them to suit the materials in that local vernacular. We've got a placemaking manual that goes with it to ensure that the places we're building are fit for purpose, 3 elevational styles, and are already type approved by NHBC, endorsed by, hopefully, Homes England in terms of funding, and potentially supported by Lloyds Banking Group in terms of development finance and mortgage finance. Those are the type of solutions, pattern book, standardisation, DFMA, that makes our life, making things a lot easier. Makes the developer's life a lot easier where they've got an off-the-shelf pre-configured solution. So first to market, spring next year, we'll have a solution for those who'd be interested in looking at that solution where they actually can just take the whole house solution from us, because we are a developer as well as a supplier. And finally, just to talk about our ambitions as a developer, we are currently building the largest residential development in Scotland at Countess Wells on the outskirts of Aberdeen. It's a 3,500 unit development with mixed use, education, community, food production, retail, and the current largest public park built in Scotland in the last 100 years. A huge degree of biodiversity involved. We call it a 20-minute neighbourhood to get connectivity to wider connections within the Aberdeen area. And we believe this can be really a bedrock for the future model for net zero carbon living. So in our roadmap to net zero carbon, we believe we can do some large-scale demonstrations at Countess Wells in Aberdeen, where we can actually start to play around with the technologies in the home, and also the grid readiness. I was speaking to some of the guys from Synergy about homes will become electrically driven. So you're going to put an EV charging point in, you're going to put a heat pump in, you're going to have PV on the roof, you're going to generate a lot of power, and that power needs to go into the grid. So we've got to look at smart grids, we've got to look at the utilities infrastructure that support that system and how we manage that system going forward, because it's fundamentally different to what we're currently doing in a development. So in our development at Countess Wells, as part of our sustainability strategy, we're looking to do some innovation demonstration in our future on that development because of the scale and the opportunity. We think that could be a blueprint for Scotland net zero carbon outlook. But we need help in that. And my last 2 slides is about innovation. So it's great to see the Innovation Centre here, because as a business, these things are really difficult to do. They cost us money. There's no certain outcome. You probably get it wrong more times than you get it right, till you get to the point where you can then commercialise it. So we need support from government. My call would be to government to fund businesses who are looking to develop these types of solutions, to offset and de-risk the cost of innovation, which is considerable, so that we all learn and we all benefit from that project, and we do it in a collaborative R&D manner. And the key thing with that is to make sure that we don't create unintended consequences. We don't want to build homes that are not fit for purpose in 10 years' time, that are going to be overheating, that are going to be pulled down because they're not durable enough, etc. They create health and well-being issues because they've not been thought through, etc., etc. So we have to go through this process. So innovation is fundamental. And with our work at Countess Wells and maybe working with the Innovation Centre and others, we'd like to do more. So from our point of view, to finish off, our conclusion as a developer and a supplier who wants to mainstream the use of timber for at least 1 in 2 homes in the UK. Timber is the only real, viable, doable, reliable, proven solution at this point in time. And we believe using timber as a renewable material will ensure that the homes and the places we create for our people and our planet will be loved by everyone. Thank you very much.